out of the office this week? LSU Bradford wants to know.
I was kind of hoping that this one would come up. I think the answer would be not hearing the phrase, well, that's the thing. I feel like
I didn't even notice that.
He does.
Apparently
he says that a lot.
something has gotten her.
That was
All
the
right.
first thing that
Now I'm
came to
going to
mind.
be paying attention to that one. What's yours, Ribs?
I am excited to be able to meet some of our guests in real life. Like Chad and I, we talked about that. We'd only met like one time and in passing. So we've got a couple people coming in, and I get to hang out with other people.
It is kind of incredible that we were talking about this morning. Rivers has these great relationships with all of these guests, but she's never met anybody. I mean, Derbs came in this morning and kind of gave her like a half hug because they kind of feel like they know each other when they walked in the studio.
Like a high five,
Yeah,
hug.
right. Hey, a little half dap,
Yeah.
Good to see you.
side hug.
Good to hear you.
I still think it's incredible that John Brady and Rivers have never met,
Ben
especially by the
Mintz.
two. They talk about each other. I mean, Brady talks about her almost like she's a daughter.
But I've even met John Brady. What?
I don't know. I don't know.
Have you ever met Mintz?
Yes. Yeah, I met him at the Creole
Sky.
Cabana.
I don't know.
I'm all over the place. I'm very into radio.
So my favorite thing about T-Bob being out this week is that I can now give everybody my spoilers on movies.
Oh,
Yes.
don't do that. I feel like he's
Yeah.
gonna like his ears are gonna perk up. He's
T-Bob
gonna know
wasn't
that
the
you
reason
do
he
Just
it.
sat
can't do
straight
that,
up
like-
in Cabo.
We've been close to
He's like sleeping right now, and just all of a sudden he like
Straight up.
jerks awake.
Even though he's spoiled more on this show than any of us
Yes.
have.
Yes. And actually, the time that he got most pissed off at me on air for spoiling something, he turned around and spoiled it even worse.
Yeah,
like a sentence later.
How much can we reasonably expect Mike Martin retirement to fuel the Knowles in our Super?
There you go.
I mean, like I said, they don't have anything to lose. They're obviously their head coach is an inspiring man, and if you're playing for that type of play for the Gipper or whatever, if you're playing for a guy and you're talented, it's dangerous. I mean, don't let him get up.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think there's some type of emotional storyline here, but once the game gets going, you got to go out there and compete. I'm looking forward to just kind of like some of the getting Skip and Martin together this weekend. Just, I mean, like two legends of the game, man.
They've
and just
forgotten
hearing
more
some of the-
baseball than I know.
Absolutely. I mean, like a lot of the. I mean, like you think of the big leaguers in this town. You, Bellucci, Terrio, all those guys, and to get around a Mike Martin and Skip Bertman and have them in your backyard this weekend playing baseball for an opportunity to go to Omaha is that's just cool stuff, man. I mean, like Baton Rouge will be the epicenter of some history this weekend.
Absolutely. Gave our 12-year-old team the weekend off.
Ah, there you go.
Guys,
Ah,
go
that's
watch
nice
some
of you.
baseball.
Yeah.
Go watch some baseball.
Because if you don't, I will.
All right, what is the most outlandish thing you've heard someone believe with total conviction that is absolutely not true?
No, the flat Earth.
Flat
thing.
Earth, that's Kyrie.
having
Get out of
a
here, Kyrie.
conversation with someone that really believes
Or
that.
anyone
makes
that
you-
believes that, you know.
I was thinking flat Earth.
No, it's not fun.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything.
I
on the
know, but
fly
that
right
one
now.
is a very big one.
Got anything
People
on that,
really
Derbs?
believe that.
I watched some
conspiracy
Netflix
theories?
show,
Yeah.
and just to see the passion that some of these people seemingly believe in the flat Earth theory is, and it's
Isn't it
compelling.
wild?
It's
Kyrie?
so bad.
Kyrie
Well,
Irving?
he tried to come back and be like, "Oh, I was just joking. I just wanted to like have a debate."
I have
Okay.
driven that thing, and it is flat.
I've driven that thing. Let's see. Is there a more underrated or off the radar contributor on the LSU baseball team than Trent Vietmeyer? Jordan Landry asks.
I don't know. Like, see, like the Vietmeyer story is kind of vintage Maneri. Like 3 weeks ago, Vietmeyer was done. He was going to the DL, of college baseball. I mean, he was going to be done for the year. And to see what he gave LSU last weekend, I mean, he was one of the guys that kind of pushed them through. So, I mean, this is LSU. Trent Vietmeyer is a great example of who LSU baseball is right now. You thought that they were dead early in the season or the midpoint of the season, and now here they are playing their best baseball at the right
There have
time.
been so many guys. It's been like a floating target. This week or this last couple weeks, it's him. But it's been a Chris Reed or it's been a Cade Beloso or Hughes with the glove or something. I mean, it's been a floating target.
Best new Baton Rouge restaurant.
Oof.
I think we all have the same one.
Yeah, let me start here.
Well, no, I was telling Jordy, we were talking about this question, and I don't know that there's a whole lot of new ones. I mean, Bumsteer's just opened, but there's not a lot of new restaurants. But there is a new Italian grocery, Canatella, which is right next to Roca.
Which I can't wait to go to today.
I know. It's got your name written all over it.
It absolutely does. On Government Street, feels like there's a lot of stuff happening on Government
Uh-huh.
though.
Like
the Beer
Mid-City.
Gardens is coming. You mentioned the new Italian restaurant, which is right next to Rocco Pizza, which is a great spot.
You've got White Star.
White Star Market's there. Anthony's Italian Deli is right up the road, right next to Superior. So I mean, like this push of trying to make Government Street What do they try? I mean, like they're trying to make like
look,
pedestrian friendly.
Bayou Cajun in the huddle, which this is also on government, but Soji. I'd say Soji's a good one.
It is
Okay,
good.
But
the
I don't know how
sushi
it's
there
not super new, but
is
I mean it's
incredible.
new enough.
Incredible sushi.
Yes.
Melts in your mouth type of sushi.
Their ramen, whew,
And a great atmosphere.
such a great atmosphere.
Do they play the old school rap still?
No, the very
Okay.
first night the very first night I went, it was kind of dark, which I liked. They were like blaring '90s rap, which I'm also super into. And the next time I went, it was brighter and the music was lower. So I'm sure they got a couple complaints, but.
Derbs, you were doing some research out towards the Coursey area. Were you talking about a new?
Oh, it's all a
beer?
blur. The argument in the car with the wife, just somebody choose something, right?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Always.
Have you been to Elsie's?
I have.
That's on government.
You know what?
Elsie's
It's
is
so
nice.
good. It's one of those places that I'm never like, oh, I want to go there. But then once I get there and I'm eating, I'm like, why don't I come here
It is.
more?
It is. And it's got a great menu. Mm-hmm. Great menu. Unnamed user, Vietmeyer's not the savior. Yeah, nobody said he's a savior. I mean, he's not saving the program. I mean, the kid's he's showing a lot of bounce back and resiliency. I think just like the LSU baseball program right now.
Have LSU sports ever been as a whole this good? LSU will be the only school to finish in top 25 for football, basketball, and baseball.
Wow. Fire Joe Oliva.
Nathan.
I want to say, was it 06 where they had the great run where Final Four LSU football was
gotta
playing
be it,
not in the national championship, but they're playing Notre Dame in the Sugar
Nick was
Bowl.
still here, yeah.
Yep. Baseball was down for
Smoke?
baseball standards. It
Yeah.
was Smoke's last year.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe to answer your question, no, all in all, but the women's basketball program was in the Final Four that year.
Correct.
So they were experiencing a very high run as far as an athletic department, but you can feel it right now. I don't know if you're as much in it as it feels like you're kind of on the doorstep of it. Like with Will Wade gets through his stuff, Ogeron feels like he's in a great spot with the football program. You look at how they're recruiting from the baseball standpoint with Nolan's doing and what Coach Benari's
I don't think
doing.
there's never been a better time to be an LSU fan.
I
Watch
agree.
ESPN, being able to watch all these baseball games, being able to watch softball, being able to tune
Softball.
into all this stuff. I mean,
Beth
good
Arena's
time
as
to be a fan.
consistent as they have on campus.
We're going to get a few more in here, so we'll try to go through them quick. Favorite brunch place?
Favorite brunch place for me is the Juilliard Brothers on Sunday morning. The Juilliard Brothers, easy.
We're at home. I hate to say it.
Family guy.
We got a bunch of kids.
Home is my favorite.
We'll ruin brunch for somebody else in a hurry.
I know. I'd be remiss to not say the Overpass Merchant because that's where I go eat brunch.
Yeah, you better not have
that
any.
chicken
You better
cheddar
not have
honey
any
biscuit?
You better not have any enemies because we know where to find you on a Sunday morning.
I don't think I've really done many brunch places here, but I've been to Magpies downtown a few times.
yeah.
They've got a good breakfast. Good
A
brunch.
sleeper brunch is Mason's Grill.
Yes,
I was
they
gonna
have-
say,
they
that
have
was the only
cheap
one that came to mind
champagne.
right away, yes.
You got to pay extra for the OJ. It's like
Bloody
they're just
Mary
like, here's
with
bottles
bacon?
of champagne.
And you know what's a great testimony to me of restaurants is that there's always cars in the parking lot.
Right.
Every time you pass Mason's, it doesn't matter
And
if
look-
it's brunch, lunch, or dinner. They got people in the parking
Fun
lot.
little fun. I know it's a secret, but I didn't realize you could do this until way later. If you call ahead, you'll jump right to the front of the line.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow,
so if you
wow.
know
Love
you're
that type
going,
of- I
if
love
you
that
know
type
you're
of
going,
service.
you just
Yes,
call and you
indeed.
get there and you're in front of the
We
line.
go
I
after
see.
Parkview award ceremonies. It's right down the street.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Burger and a Bloody Mary or something.
All the time, man.
Cold beer.
Okay, last question here. Now that LSU versus Alabama game is not prime time,
Which
does
I
that
love.
take any pressure off of either team?
I think so. I think it takes pressure off of the game. If I'm LSU's administration, I move that open date away from the weekend before that LSU-Alabama game. Stop moving. Take the pressure off that game completely. Not as much the pressure as just change the feeling of it. Like every year it feels the same. Every year you have the open week. Everybody talks about it for 2 weeks, and then LSU goes and lays an egg on Saturday night, and you talk about it for the next 52 weeks. The last time LSU won this game in Baton Rouge, it was at 2:30. You know what I mean? That was 2010 when Patrick Peterson and Kelvin Shepard and all those guys were making plays. And I just think that it needs a new feeling around it.
Beer
I'm
in the stadium.
Yes, beer in the stadium will help that. I will say this, though. I think this is a loss for Greg Sankey. I mean, like, as commissioner of the SEC, for Georgia and Notre Dame to take the spot of that game and not have two of his conference teams playing in prime time of the college football. Yeah, that's the biggest college football watch weekend of the season, and to have LSU and Alabama out of that prime time slot, I think that's a shot at Sankey. I think that's a hit on Sankey just to allow. I mean, Georgia's still there as a representative, but you have Notre Dame, somebody from outside the conference, playing in that time slot. I think that's an L for the league office.